For all your Diablo 4 item and gold needs, go to aoe.com and use code Ineffable for 3% off. Hello everyone, and welcome. Today we're jumping back into Diablo 4 for another build guide video, and today we are revisiting what used to be the king of necromancer builds, and that's the Bone Spear Necro. Now with minions getting Omega buffed, Bone Spear has kind of been left in the dirt, although we do have a new Book of the Dead passive that allows our mages to cast Bone Spear for us. We're still kind of lacking the power that a standard minion Necro would have. So I will be upfront with you guys and say while this build is good, it is definitely not an S tier build, but it can hang with a large majority of them. So let us jump into the gear and talk as we go along. As always, the planner is in the description with the optimal rolls for everything. Please check there and don't reference my gear, rather use the link in the description. For our two-handed weapon, we are using a sword. For the additive crit strike damage, we have intelligence, critical strike damage. We're taking resource cost reduction here and bone skill damage with a chance for bone spear projectiles to cast twice. And as our aspect, we are taking serration for the awesome increase to damage when we're casting our bone skill. On our boots we have Occult Dominion with intelligence, essence per second, which is very important here, movement speed, lucky hit chance to stun, more movement speed, and obviously the Occult Dominion lets us have 2 more mages. For our pants we are taking Aspect of Hardened Bones with intelligence, max life, all res, more max life, and then corpse tendril size. Try get your corpse tendril size to 100%, and then after that go for curse size. On the gloves we are running the splintering aspect with crit chance, crit damage, plus the bone spear, bone critical strike chance, and corpse tendril size again. On the chest piece we have aspect of might. Now this was a personal choice just because there's not really a lot we can run here, but I chose to go with might because the build was a little bit squishy. On the chest piece I have intelligence, max life, armor, total armor, more corpse tendril size. Obviously if you're at 100% already, go for the Decrepify side. For the helm, we are running Deathless Visage that comes with max essence, bone crit strike damage, physical damage, and some damage reduction. And then this just gives us a little bit of passive damage. Honestly, we're taking it more for the stats than anything else here. On the amulet, we got Grasping Veins, so make sure to cast Corpse Tendrils at least once every 6 seconds. And then we have damage attack speed, compound fracture, and resource cost reduction. For our first ring, we are using Sacrilegious Soul, which brings a lot of utility to the build, letting it auto cast our corpse skills, and we get some decent stats from it as well. For our second ring, we are running the Ring of Starless Skies, which comes with crit chance, crit damage, core damage, lucky hit chance, and then whenever we spend resource, it reduces our resource cost and increases our damage done. Now if you don't have this ring, because it is a uber unique, feel free to use the aspect of exposed flesh here and roll similar things to our other gear such as attack speed, crit chance, crit damage. We will have a quick scroll through all our stats here, and then we can jump into our Book of the Dead choices and our skill tree. For our skeletal warriors, we're going with the Reapers, and that's the second upgrade. The reason why, if you don't know, it's currently bugged. If you use the second upgrade, you get both, so there's no reason to not use it. Then we are going with the Bone Mages with the first upgrade that allows them to shoot a Bone Spear if it's on our action bar every 6th attack they do. As for the Golem, we are sacrificing the Iron Golem to get a ton more crit damage. If you want more survivability, you can go with the Blood Golem with the first upgrade, but this is the better damage. Let's jump to a quick breakdown of the skills. We're starting off with Hemorrhage. Now you can take anything you want here, just not Bone Splinters, because we don't want our mages to be casting those. We want them to only be casting Bone Spear. So yes, if you like Reap or Decompose more, pick up those. Then we're moving down, we're grabbing 3 into Hued Flesh, and then moving up to Imperfectly Balanced. All 5 points into Bone Spear with Paranormal Bone Spear for more Splinters, basically just increasing our DPS. Moving down, we are grabbing a point into Blood Mist. Now this is a flex spot, but Blood Mist is so good, especially on those pit boss fights, that it's hard to pass up. Moving down, we're going into Grim Harvest, and then Fueled by Death just to grab a little bit more DPS. We're taking Death's Approach, Death's Embrace, Amplify Damage, 3 points into Skeletal Mage Mastery, just so they get a bit more health. This is also a utility thing. And then we're grabbing Decrepify with Abhorrent Decrepify. Moving down, we grab Corpse Tendrils with Enhanced and Blighted Corpse Tendrils. Because we have 100% uptime on vulnerability through our aspects, we don't need the vulnerable aspect here. Instead, we take the one that gives us a bunch of blood orbs, and these do a great job at keeping us and our minions alive. Scooting on down from that, we want to grab Necrotic Carapace, and then we want to grab all these bone passives down here, except for the one that gives us cooldown reduction, because we are really strapped for skill points in this build, and we don't need the cooldown. We want to grab both these minion passives here just to help them stay alive a bit better and do better damage. We also get some crit chance from it. Lastly, we want to grab the Ossified Essence Key passive, which gives us a bunch of increased damage based on our essence when we're casting our Bone Spear, and this is going to carry over to our minions' Bone Spear when they cast it for us. So while I'm just flashing the Paragon board on screen, let's talk about a bit of the gameplay. Try to stay as high as you can in terms of essence, and let your minions cast a whole bunch of Bone Spears when you are running low, because we want to stay topped off as much as possible. Because we don't need to be near our minions because we aren't taking the Hellbent Commander passive, we can play as safe as we humanly can. This build is extremely squishy, just as Bone Spear has always been, so you want to sit back as far as you can while throwing these Bone Spears ahead of you. Now in terms of power, as I did say, this build is not an S tier build. It can compete and it does decently well, but unfortunately it doesn't have the modifiers and the multipliers that other minion builds do. So I am going to leave you guys with a tier 80 clear, which I think for this build is pretty decent considering its overall power. Obviously this can be pushed a bit higher. I would say that it won't be able to break the 100 and maybe push into the mid 90s. But please do enjoy. If you do, please consider liking and subscribing, and until next time, farewell.
not ready.